To Dmitry Gorodnichy.
Yes, my name is Dmitry Gorodnichy. So I am with the Canada Border Services Agency. I'm a senior research scientist there, and before that, I worked at the National Research Council. So, why I'm coming here from my lifelong passion of science to help members of our union, everyone, without discrimination. Really, I want to represent everyone who has concerns about their employment conditions, but also uh, about the support they receive from the union, especially in these times of heightened political and industrial pressures, which we experience right now. And another point I would like to mention that I'm coming from a very different background from a former Soviet Union. I do know what it feels to feel different, to look different. So I will make sure I will hear every one of you, regardless of whatever background you are coming from. And all my political platform are on my website. So here you go.
Thank you, Dmitry. J'aimerais inviter Yvon Brodeur. And the question will be, here it is. It's up on our screens. How do you see the workplaces of PIPS members changing in the next 3 years? And how do you propose to adapt to those changes?
So excellent questions, excellent, both parts of it. So here's my vision. I've been thinking about this for quite some time. In the next years, changes in the workplace will be driven by four factors. Shift towards hybrid work models. You know, the pandemic has already accelerated the adoption of hybrid environments. And of course, this trend will continue. But we will need to advocate for balanced messaging and action in this issue so that they are supported at all levels of public service and as well as at Canadians outside of public service. Number two, increasing political and industry pressures. Political and industry interference has grown in the recent years. We have all witnessed that. And it will continue, of course, as the government and industries respond to global crises, political or public health concerns, and environmental challenges. To protect our professionals from political pressures, I will push for stronger provisions in collective agreements for everyone who provides professional recommendation on policy or any products related to health, food, and environment. Number three, emphasis on fiscal responsibility and transparency. Many people talked about that. We'll need to provide a framework which allows full transparency on all operation of the union. Number four, support for vulnerable workers and specialized professionals. So especially contract and term positions. We have the problems with them and we'll need to address it. And also we will need to attract and protect subject matter experts by advocating additional protection for them and to retain the existing capacity, which we're losing right now. So if we anticipate those four factors, I think we can address them very, very well. So I think that's the duty of myself and the board of directors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dmitry. And with that, that concludes the first round. On the first question, we went from the workplace. Now we're going to take this a little bit more into our own house. And here's our question. It's well known that PIPS is currently experiencing financial difficulties. If elected, how do you propose to address those challenges? La question, la situation financière de l'Institut, et on demande aux candidats et aux candidates comment elle et il proposent de régler ce problème. And our next speaker is Dmitry Gorodnichy. You can go ahead.
Another very good question, and I've heard it from so many members, and indeed it's high time to address this question. I've been thinking about that, and specifically, I have four actions in mind to address these financial challenges. First, immediate dues freeze. I would advocate for immediate dues freeze until a robust framework for fiscal transparency and accountability is put in place. Only then we could start talking about increase of memberships, member dues, because members deserve to know exactly how the dues are being used, and they need assurance that the union is managing its finances effectively and according to the priorities selected by the members. So there should be a mechanism to seek the feedback from the members. And this freeze, at least for time being, would be a good signal to all members that we're committed to address this very important concern. Number two, operational efficiency. So many processes and services can be and should be modernized to save costs, specifically digital platforms, and specifically elections should be done electronically, to my opinion. Both for two reasons, both to engage all members, not only those who attend the hotels, but also to cut the cost. So number three, long-term planning and accountability. So again, we need to develop a framework, a long-term framework, and report it to the members beforehand, not post-factum. And number four, just an idea, exploring new revenues upstream, essentially teaming up with other unions, like we mentioned CAPE here. They're addressing many of those challenges, like protecting from our professional from political interference, for example, or training, for example, right? So many similar challenges. So four opportunities, I think, for us to improve financial situation.
Thank you. Thank you, Dmitry. Thank you very much. J'aimerais inviter maintenant David Young. Améliorer les services.
In what areas do you think that PIPSC can improve the services it provides to members? What do you propose to do to improve those services?
Can improve services it provides to members. What do you propose to do to improve these services? And our first speaker is Dmitry Gorodnichy. I'm sorry, Gorodnichy. I'm sorry, Dmitry. I'll catch up on the next one. So Dmitry, you can go ahead. You need to unmute yourself, please.
Okay, yeah, so Gorodnichy, yeah.
Gorodnichy.
Well, that's good. So again, I've chosen four areas where I think the union can and should improve its support for the members. First, enhanced member engagement and communication. One of the biggest opportunities for improvement of services is really to engage members. Many feel disconnected or unheard, and which of course leads to disengagement and frustration. So I propose implement regular town halls and virtual Q&A sessions where members can share their concerns directly with the union leadership. Additionally, the union should improve communications on frequently on the major issues, in particular, such as updates on policy grievances, for example. We have not heard about some of those policy grievances for 3 years now, almost. And now another opportunity is creating centralized platform where people can provide feedback, like Slido. Okay, opportunity number two is effective grievance handling, if possible, for those specifically who experience fear of reprisal for standing for their professional integrity of their work. And number three is also their support those most vulnerable members who experience a hard time working in their domain because of pressures. So support for vulnerable members and understand where is the fear of reprisal and just target exactly this population, those groups which experience fear of reprisal. And number four is transparency on responses to government policies, because members need more clarity on how the union plans to respond to all those new evolving government policies. We know there was one 3 years ago, there will be another one maybe. So how the union will respond, it needs to be done proactively. And the same for return to office and everything else, transparency.
Thank you, Dmitry. That was right on the right on the nose. Right on the nose. It's Alan's final question. And our question reads as follows. What prior experience do you think best prepared you to take on the role of part-time vice president? All our people that have joined this town hall, we are asking candidates to talk about the prior experience they have that would have prepared them to take on a role of part-time vice president. Nous demandons à nos candidats et nos candidates de parler de leur expérience antérieure qui les préparait le mieux à assumer la vice-présidence à temps partiel. Our next speaker is Dmitry Gorodnichy. Dmitry, over to you. Dmitry, could you unmute yourself, please? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm with the government since 2000. So I'm a passionate researcher, and I'm coming from a much different cultural and professional background compared to most people in this room and in executive, our community. So, I'm giving new ideas, fresh look into everything which is happening inside the union, but also outside of the union. And also, I'm still actually actively engaged on the matters of my professional duty expertise, which is artificial intelligence and data science. I have PhD in those two domains. So, and I'm very closely connected with many my fellow workers in many departments. I'm leading multiple initiatives related to my professional duties, which allows me to hear to many of them, not only people from my department, but from many departments. So, and in fact, because I'm also coming from different background, I appreciate talking to people to different backgrounds because it teaches me new perspectives. Most importantly, I got elected to the NCR Executive Board in April, and it allowed me to see from inside the union some challenges which many people have experienced before me, but now I know many of them myself. And I have just sponsored a number of resolutions for the national AGM to address some of those challenges. And I invite everyone just to go there and to look how I'm trying to act already on those points which I have mentioned. So specifically, I'm brand new, you can say, but I'm learning extremely fast. So I've been learning all my life, and I would love to work with this heterogeneous, versatile community of people here and elsewhere within the union to bring more value for the money for all our members.
Merci beaucoup, Dmitry. On va demander à Yvon Brod